I've never done a podcast before, like an actual one. So
Really?
This is weird. I'm always on the other side.
Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Conversations with Creatives, and it's episode 5, and we are joined by an awesome videographer, photographer that I've actually had the pleasure of traveling to different countries with around this country photographing, and it is Hunter Clarke. And but no, he is an amazing Instagram reel videographer, and I just kind of want to right at the start just get into your backstory, because you originally didn't start with cars, right? Because cars is a pretty recent development that you got into.
Yeah,
so how did you start? Just I don't know, just take us to the beginning on what even got you into like the videography, and take us from there.
Cool. Well, first off, I appreciate it. I was telling you before, I've never been on a podcast or anything like that. So I think it's a really cool experience to be part of it.
Being here.
But no, it started out with like nature kind of stuff.
Okay.
Just kind of like taking photos of everything as a kid. But what brought me up to the point of getting into like photo video, I started getting into it when I was like 11 years old. And a buddy of mine, he showed me some YouTube stuff, and he's like, "Oh, dude, this is crazy! Like, there's this guy named Casey Neistat that's doing all these crazy things, and he bought a camera, and we would run around our neighborhood just filming random crap, like very embarrassing stuff. But from there, like I don't know, my childhood, I didn't really have a lot growing up, and when I found an opportunity to like create something for myself, I just became obsessed with that thing, and that just happened to be photo and video. And I didn't get into video until later, but it originally was like just nature stuff. Like I went to one of my first experiences, actually traveling to doing stuff. I was 16 years old, and my adoptive parents put me on a flight, sent me off to Outer Banks, North Carolina by myself. And they're like, "There's this cool workshop, you should go do it." And they just sent me off. And it was a photo of a lighthouse. I'll have to show you that one too. That was a pretty cool experience.
The workshop was taking photos of that lighthouse?
A lighthouse in North Carolina. So that was like my first experience with it. I was into that. And then it kind of moved from that to like portrait photography. And what's funny is when I graduated high school, I actually spent all my money on like a Canon EOS R or something like that to get into it. Okay. Because I was using an M50 at the time, a Canon M50, and I was like,
which are great starter.
They're pretty good starter cameras, yeah. And I was like pushing myself to where it's like, hey, if I can do this well, granted, even though the stuff that I don't know, if I can do something this well with this camera, what can I do with a better camera? Like a professional camera. And I spent all my money. I had $0 in my account, and I got an R, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool.
Because those were insane when they first came out.
Yeah, they were great. They were pretty good. They're pretty good cameras. And from there, I just was doing portrait stuff, trying to get out there, and I started working. My first video job was with the pest control company. I was doing, funny enough, podcast stuff, all that stuff,
editing their podcast for them.
Yeah, and I don't really know the moment I started getting the car stuff. I think my brother-in-law was just like, it would be cool. Like, car stuff is pretty cool. He's like super into cars. He does like drag racing, all that stuff. Yeah. And I've always wanted to make commercials. So those two kind of like went together. I'm like, I want to make car commercials because cars are cool, and I'm into this video stuff. Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's like you got to pick something and go with it. And if it's not what you want, or if it's not what you think you want, at least you went out and you did it, so you can figure out,
So that's how you find your niche.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I just decided to go and do car stuff, and I don't know. Yeah, it just
stuck.
Yeah, it just stuck. So I just kept doing it, and I guess here I am. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, but, so we kind of have the same story, because I started with nature, landscape stuff, and then I kind of transitioned because I had a Jeep in southern Utah, and I would just go take photos of like Zion National Park and like flowers there and whatever. And then I was like, I'll take pictures of my Jeep out in cool places, and then did there, and then it's just snowballed to what it is now. So that transition from nature to car, and
just kind of like.
But then again, like the nature and car, like those paired together, because that's where we take the photos of the cars. Is we put them in nature, we put them in cool places, and they're cohesive.
100%. Yeah,
go together. So that's a cool. Really cool. Have you always been like into cars, or have you gotten into cars and now that you've like taken pictures of them, like appreciate them?
I think I got into cars after the fact. Okay. And it's funny, I'm not really like a car guy. Like I don't know a lot of cars and stuff like that.
Can't list off all the specs and everything.
Yeah, someone will be like, "Oh, this car's great." I'm like, or like, "This car's cool." I'm like, Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it
let
is.
me just pull
Yeah.
out Google real quick and like look it up.
Let me see why.
But like I don't know, like as a kid, I never really like I had like Hot Wheels. It is a crazy experience being around all the crazy cars. Like you have the
Yeah.
SF90 and then a
All the
Carrera
cars
and then
around
all these
here.
other ones.
Yeah.
You know, like being around it and it's like, oh, okay, it's really cool. I kind of drew toward the classiness of the high end cars,
Yeah.
just because I like the lifestyle rather than the car itself. If that makes sense, because my mind always goes to it's like I want to be the type of person that can buy one of those cars. I don't want one of those cars because
Right.
if you're that person that can buy one of those cars, you can have basically the lifestyle that you want.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's what we
where-
said. Like cars have always been like a goal, but they've been a goal because that, like you said, if you can afford that, you can do everything else that comes with being in that financial position. Like if you can afford a $500,000 car, that means you could probably be like good with philanthropy and helping people and traveling and seeing places. Like that's there. The car is just a tangible goal just to look at to get to the place where it's like you can do everything else too.
100%. And I view it as also it's the byproduct of the hard work that you put in.
Yeah.
And it's very important to center your goals and your lifestyle or your life and stuff on stuff that is unchanging. So if you're like, I want to center myself on being the person that can get the car and like just centering yourself on things that don't change, you grow more as a person. And if you say you get to that point where you get the car, and if you're centered on just getting the car, all your motivation fizzles out.
Yeah.
And then you're
especially
done.
when you get it and
Yeah,
you
no.
realize it's just a car.
Yeah, and then it'll fizzle out. But if I say this like I have one in my garage, but I don't.
But we've been around everybody that's achieved it, and
Yeah.
so we've heard these stories, so we do get it.
Exactly. You center yourself on being the person that can get the thing, and then the thing itself is just a byproduct.
Yeah.
You know, like the cars are just a byproduct. But
Which,
anyway,
which I've heard, I hear this from almost every single person, and I feel like the owner of these cars is a testament to that. It's after you get to the point where you get it, it's about sharing it afterwards. It's taking it to places, giving people rides, going to events, helping things out. Or like he's really involved with like charity stuff. I'm not sure if you can see on my camera. He has stickers on this Ferrari from a charity rally that I photographed that he went on, and it was all about just raising money for underprivileged kids and kids in the hospital and stuff. So they use these things as like a networking and catalyst tool to help other people and share the experience. And I feel like I can speak from my experience when someone in this position like shares their car with you, that ignites a fire in you to want to work harder to get yours too. The reason why I have like such a passion for it is because I saw this Ferrari F430 like when they were almost brand new at some dealership in downtown Salt Lake City. And it was just parked out there, and I came and looked at it, and the salesman obviously knew like my mom and I weren't going to be buying this, but he took like 30 minutes out of his time, opened up the car, let us turn it on, rev it, have fun with it, like shared it with us. And then just like had that experience. And ever since then, I'm like, I want that car. And it was the coolest experience to have. And I was like 13 at the time when I did that, like 13 or 14. And I still like remember that feeling of being like, yeah. And it was just someone took the time out of their day to share that cool car with me and have that passion of like, I'm going to buy one for sure. And I want to get to there. And then when I get that, then I want to take that to the car shows and share it with people and share it and just keep that like passion, like
Passion
rock
for it,
rolling,
yeah.
you know?
100%. And I feel like some people don't realize that it's about like life and all this stuff is about relationships that you build along the way. It's not about all that stuff, which is cool. But it's like, that's why it impacted you so much. Cause just the relationship, not even a relationship, just the occurrence you had with the guy that would even let you do that. Like, it's really cool to see that and stuff.
No, and you probably agree, like the network that even just building like this kind of content just provides you and the coolest people that you get to meet. So I would say the car community is actually probably one of the coolest communities just to be a part of, because they're just some of the nice people. Like I said, they all have achieved like really cool heights in business, and now they just want to share their experiences with people. So they're just cool people to know, like a business network wise, but also just they're just genuinely good people that like to share all their stuff. Like more times than not, they're like really good people to hang out with. And like I said, the owner that has the shop is really cool and just loves to share and let us use this beautiful place for his fun little man cave.
Thank you, Cam. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Cam. Really appreciate it. And the reason why, just for I like a backstory of the locations, because I do the podcast in a different location every single time.
Oh, okay.
And this location is because like Hunter, a lot of times has shot. I feel like you've shot almost every single car in this garage.
I think I have, but the Corvette.
Not the Turbo S. Have you shot the Turbo S?
I've shot it, not really a video, but I've done some photos of it.
Okay.
But yeah, like we actually, I have to show you that video. Me and Cam took this SF90 off road.
Nice.
Like up on some dirt. We actually took one of the, when I was doing stuff with Cam, we took the Carrera also off road.
Yeah.
And then that was one of the first viral videos we made with Cam, and he's like, I gotta keep going.
Right.
But,
Yeah, no. So this guy, he just rips his cars, beats them up, off roads them like crazy. he's broken some of his too. That's a story later.
Yeah.
And but yeah, like we just have so much fun with these cars. I've actually even broken some of his cars before he let me. That's actually one of the photos we'll get into.
Okay.
But yeah, like well, I've damaged a car, but didn't fully almost broke it.
Still nerve-wracking if you have
Yeah, still nerve wracking. Actually, someone else almost wrecked it while I had it.
Oh,
kind of thing. But we'll get into that into the photos. But yeah, so that's cool that like transition from landscape and stuff. Kudos to your brother also for pushing
like, hey,
you that
this is
direction
cool.
and be like, hey. So what's your brother's name?
Cello.
Cello?
Or Marcello, but we call him Cello.
So Cello Clarke. Thank you for
Cello Platt, my brother-in-law.
Oh, brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Cello Platt. Okay. Well, thank you for creating the Hunter Clarke that we are pushing you in this direction for people to watch. We like to do a gear check in the show. What sort of gear do you use to create the stuff that you use? Which we'd love to show them off, but we're actually using them to record this right now, all the different camera angles that you see. So yeah, what gear do you use for your videos?
For the main stuff, I just use a Sony A7S III. I have for social media, I have I think it's a 14 to 24 lens on it.
Nice.
And then I have an DJI RS4 Pro gimbal, and then I have like a small HD monitor. And then you have like obviously the batteries and the cords and stuff with it. Right. And I think that's really it. I just have that for my videos, and then I just for like just like the baseline stuff. I have like a bunch of other stuff, but I think that's like the main stuff that I probably use.
Okay. And the photo, do you use the A7 IV for all your photo stuff?
A7 IV. I tried out that Fujifilm camera. Yeah. But it just
the X100
Yeah, it just wasn't worth the hype. If you're like a hobbyist, it's really great. But I was like, oh, what if I can, make it more? It's just the colors I never got right. Maybe I'm an idiot. I didn't have that much.
Fuji has very unique colors. Dude, like my last guest, he just keeps his Fuji on him. He has the X105. Oh, nice. But yeah, but he mostly shoots like in black and white and all that stuff. So his Fuji is just a great like point shoot, keep around there and still get like a good quality thing. So like for people like that, perfect.
100%. When you're doing professional, I'm like, the colors, I just couldn't get it right. But I don't know. I don't know too much about Fuji.
I haven't dived into the Fuji thing yet, but I feel like if I was going to do that, I'd probably just dive into like a Leica Q and just say screwed and then see what's up with it. I feel
like the Leica, I feel like the Leica has better colors from what I've seen, like what other people have gone and stuff. Even Jim, I think he had a Leica or something.
Yeah, he has like an M11.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, those colors are sick. But also, that's a very portrait oriented camera. Yeah, because I want to do like car stuff, and when it comes to like giving or getting photos and videos for a client, whether it's you're doing commercial work or it's just for someone that has a car, you have to get the colors very right on the paint, or else
especially for commercial stuff.
Yeah, because it's like, hey, why is it kind of like this weird, like
why not the color of the car?
Yeah, it's not the color, so it's
we
like
don't make that color.
Yeah, so it's like Fujifilm. I would love to use it, but it's like it's the portrait photographer inside of me that I used to do. I'm like, this is really great for that, but I can't so.
Yeah, that's why my photos I always try to keep it pretty close to what the natural colors should look like. But so it's been really hard for me to like be creative to push like different colors because it's like I want it to look just like real but cinematic. But I've been trying to just be like, screw it, we're just gonna make this all green and hope that it works.
Right. That's me with the color grading. I'm like, oh man, I would love to have this like crazy good color grade, but I'm like, but how do I don't even know. Like I can't stray away from that because it's really weird to see a car that's not that color. Right. But it's like I have to disconnect from that and be like, okay, this is a car edit. Like I actually made a black and white video, like a couple weeks ago with that 992 GT3 RS. Okay. And I'm like, this is weird seeing it black and white, but like you have to view it as like an edit standpoint, not as like a product. It kind of a weird thing.
Yeah, like Porsche isn't paying you to make that video. You're making it. And that's what I have to remind myself, like this is a creative thing for myself. And even on like my drive that I keep all my photos, I'll just label the folder as experimental just to see like this might suck. This might look cool. I don't know. Nice. But yeah, it's hard. Because like I really like that dark, moody look, but it's so hard for me to make things look super dark and moody because I'm like, this isn't how it's supposed to look.
Right. And I feel like I love Sony for that. Like it really helps you get like that neutral plate so you can do stuff like that. Like it's really nice.
Which I'll actually throw up on the screen. I tried to do one of those edits with this like Porsche I took. So I like put it sideways, made the bar to stand out a ton, and had this like, I got inspired by one of my friend's Connor's photos that he did when he shot a 3RS this way. But I tried to do a moody edit because this was like a perfectly just clear, not dark, moody day at all. So I was like,
Oh, really?
let's just try to make it blue and
Dude,
crazy.
I think it looks sick because you have the red light bar and it has that color that has like it pops and then it's just I love dark and moody stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
it's
fun.
super great.
But then what sucks too, it's like because lighting changes all the time when you're taking photos. This is the only photo that this color grade worked on. Then I tried to put it on like the front of the car, and I was like, this just looks like crap. So I literally in this folder I have 2 photos of the back of the car, and that's it. I'm like, this is the only one that this color grade works for, and I can't get any other shot to line up with it. But yeah, and like always, like I also shoot on A7 IV. But again, we are recording it with this, so can't show off our gear. Sorry. And yeah, so I think we should just dive in to our first stuff. Did you want me to kick it off?
Yeah, sure. Give me the rundown on that.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll just show off each of our thing, and then we'll just talk backstory, how we made it, story behind it, what's interesting, and then we'll just go keep back and forth. And unfortunately, with the reels he's going to show, there's no audio because copyright.
Yeah, well,
don't want to get strikes.
We'll
on
link
YouTube.
it to social media and stuff.
But yeah, obviously, link down below. Go check out all of his reels because they're amazing.
Oh, no, I appreciate it. No, I think I actually have 2 of them. You can see not the full thing, but they don't have audio. They don't have like music, so it should be okay.
Okay,
I think, for the most part.
If I can, there'll be audio. But if there's music, sorry. But if you watch the Caden episode, I couldn't show any audio on his either. But so my first photo going into this, I took this one of this AMG GTS up on top. This was near, kind of near Lagoon, actually.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to remember exactly what city, but it was near Lagoon. And I wanted to talk about this one because the question I get a lot about people, especially when people give me their cars for the day, especially kind of like how Cam has, is what happens if something goes wrong with it? Like, what do you do? What is like, how do you handle that? And one, I would say, obviously, just have business insurance just in case, because you never know. I'm not going to call it anybody, but someone did give me one of their cars one time with that. And when I was pulling out, they're like, hey, I don't have insurance on that. So just FYI, don't wreck it. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah, this isn't $250,000.
No, it was a $700,000 car.
Okay.
And they were like, hey, I don't have insurance on that.
You're like, this is great.
Don't wreck it. And I'm like, okay. So right after that, I went and got an insurance policy for it. But the reason I bring that up is because something did go wrong with this car when I had it. I've shot these photos. I had it for the day. And then I actually was going to film a YouTube video, like a review, but the wind was crazy. So I couldn't like record audio.
Oh, gotcha.
And so I came back the next week and I was like, let me take out the car again. I just want to film the review, and he was cool with it. So I took it, and I got like 20, 30 minutes away from his house. And then I like punched it to get on the highway, and then the transmission failed.
Oh,
like I literally like I just punched it, like, and luckily I was recording, so it was like all on video, but I just punched it and just like build up the revs and then just dumped into neutral.
That's terrifying.
And I was like on the side of the highway in Salt Lake City near rush hour time too, in this guy's $120,000 car. And I kept just trying to like turn it on. Like I could restart it and it would go into first gear, and then I could drive like 100 feet and then it would kick itself back into neutral. And it just would. So I was like limping it off the highway, like constantly restarting it, got it to some parking lot, and I called him and I was like, hey, your transmission just kind of dumped out of this car. It's not working. And so he had to he was having a dinner. Do you know Jeeves?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Jeeves.
he was having dinner with Jeeves actually. So he's like, oh, I've got to finish up this dinner and then I'll come help you out. And so like an hour later, I was just sitting in this parking lot, just like trying to get it to work or something. And then he came and showed up, and we had to like hobble it back to his house. And like, he lived like 20 minutes away. Just like trying to get it back to his house. And, yeah, so I was just sitting there panicking. I'm willing to help pay for whatever repairs need to do. But I had footage that it wasn't my fault. Like I was literally just driving, and pulling onto the highway, and then it just kicked. And I like showed him the video, and so he knew it wasn't anything.
But you were.
And he was like a cool owner. Like he didn't like come after me being like, "Hey, you broke my car," because I guess these AMG GTs have transmissions that just fail. And so Mercedes actually has like extended warranties that they just give all of them because they know that they're going to fail.
Oh, wild.
And so he was just like, yeah, it's something that they expect. So luckily it wasn't anything, but yeah, this was one of the few times that like a car's actually just almost completely broke on me. And we got it in. What it actually turned out to be was an air intake issue.
For the transmission?
Just an engine air intake issue, which is weird. The car was just freaking out. Like the air intake was doing something weird, and it would just kick the transmission to neutral.
Oh, weird.
But then they found that the transmission actually did have issues when they tore it apart. So then they actually, Mercedes just bought it back from him. Because they were just like, we'll just take it off your hands and just fix it. But yeah, the whole thing turned out just to be like a faulty air sensor or something in one of the air intakes.
That's wild.
But like my heart just sank in, yeah, literally on the side of the road in Salt Lake City, just dead. car that I can't afford. They just panicking. But again, if anything were to happen, I have that insurance policy
That's good. Yeah.
on my business because like I'm insured up to $1 million, so I could luckily wreck almost anything and be okay.
Right.
Thankfully, so please get that if you're driving other people's cars.
Yeah, I'm glad you're okay, and it wasn't anything detrimental, and that the owner was chill and everything like that. 'Cause, yeah, that's terrifying. Yeah.
Oh, it's so because like it is kind of nerve wracking sometimes when you take people's cars. Like I'm so used to driving cars like this now, where it's like I'm not intimidated by driving them, but there's always the unknown factor of just other people
Right.
around.
Yeah,
and
like
we'll
trusting
actually
other
talk
people
about other
to-
people too.
Yeah.
With one of my later photos, but yeah, so it's that's one question I get all the time. Is just like, what do you do when it breaks? And in this case, I just prayed and hobbled, and
Right.
and luckily it wasn't my fault. But if it ever is, then just make sure you're protected, people. Especially when
that's
you're
smart.
with people that are ripping their cars.
Oh, right.
Wrecking up like that. But yeah, that's my first one, and the first time I like almost panicked of just being scared if I just destroyed their car on accident.
Right. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, it's scary with that, but it's part of the game.
Mm.
But yeah, should we see your first
Um.
reel now?
Yeah. Or let's see.
So did you make this right around when the second Dune came out,
Yes.
just to kind of catch that hype? Is that CGI? That thing?
Yeah.
in there?
Yeah. That's CGI.
That's cool because that looks so real. Did you do all that in one take, or did he mess up ever? Trying to jump on.
I did that one in 2 takes, I think.
Takes, okay. Here's the thing: he actually is climbing on there and like driving. Like, why? This isn't
Yeah.
fake right here. They're actually driving.
Yeah. Yeah, just white on top. That one was super fun.
That's so cool. So
Like-
were you in another car going along with them too, like to get that shot?
Yeah, I was just in my GTI, and my buddy Dallin was driving it and stuff.
Was there just a paved road right next to where you were? You could
Yeah.
just go like the nice steady shot.
Yeah, I
Okay.
filmed a Raptor video there once, and I found that road. I'm like, oh, this is nice, since I
cool.
don't have a car that can go off road. So
Yeah, no, that's perfect for the steady shots. So you can even you can just hook up an Osmo on the side and just run
right,
it.
yeah, and just
you
go
know?
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, that one, how it came to be, we were actually on that couch over there. I was with Cam, and we were sitting down. He's like, Hunter, I just want to do something crazy. Like, I just want someone to stand on top of my, Strato, and we can drive it. And I was like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. Like, let's do it. And then my buddy Down, that was driving my car for that shoot, he was like, hey, do you want to go see Dune Part 2? I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I don't think I saw the first one at all or anything like that.
Did
So
you
I,
know anything that was happening in that movie then? If you hadn't seen the first
not
one,
really, but even after watching the first one, I'm like, I don't even know really. I can't even keep up with the second one. But like, cinematography is really cool. But we went and watched that, and I'm like, oh, dude, Cam, we should do like a Mad Max or a Dune Part 2 type style, because I don't know the actual guy's name, but Timothy, he was on top
Timothy
of the
Chalamet
sandworm
or whatever.
Yeah, he was on top of the worm, and I'm like, oh, dude, we can just recreate Dune with this. And he was like, oh, dude, I'm so down for that. And later he was like, I actually watched that and went before I said that. So I think that's where it came from.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he went out and got like a piece of wood and cut it out to put on the top of the Strato,
For him to
so
stand
Wyatt
on?
can stand on it.
Cool.
Yeah. We just got like a inverted Lamborghini tan shirt, and we wrapped it around him, and then
Okay.
got like
I was
goggles.
gonna
and
ask if
stuff.
that was just.
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
had to like go to like a costume store or something.
Yeah,
and get all
Cam
that
was just
stuff.
like, I have this shirt. Let's just do it. I'm like, okay, yeah. Yeah, so we just went out, and I kind of just looked at that video, and then just made like a short little shot list, and just basically recorded everything. And it's funny, yeah. So the thumper of it, the part at the beginning, completely CG'd in.
Did you take that from like a Dune footage? And
Yeah,
put
so
it
there
on
was a YouTube video. It was like a 8K Dune video enhanced. So I just screen recorded that, took that in, and then added it in.
That's cool.
And that was actually the last shot I filmed, was that shot. I'm like, oh, I need to get a shot like that. So I just filmed the side of like this dirt mound, and I'm like, I think that's what the shot looked like. And then it just panned out to what the shot actually
Did you
was.
just have to adjust the colors to just make sure
Yeah.
the sand blended and
Yeah,
it worked
so
out
I
perfect?
just
Okay.
just adjust the colors and
That's
stuff.
cool.
Logan Davidson, he was like, was that real? I'm like, no. He's like, dude, what? I thought you got a prop for it and stuff.
Yeah.
So
No, it looks
somehow
100% real.
somehow I made it look real.
Yeah,
I don't know
it
how I
looked
did
good.
that. But yeah, so we just went out and filmed it. And yeah, it was a lot of fun, a lot of dirt. That's one of my favorite ones, because after it was done, Chris Howe commented on it. Jerry Rig Everything. He's not a photographer or anything, but he does like the teardown stuff.
Yeah.
And you filmed his like Cybertruck
Yeah,
that he's
shot a
giving away.
Cybertruck for him, yeah.
And then Whizzle and Diesel commented on it too, which is kind of funny. And I'm like, I want to go do stuff with him because
I've taken photos of one of his cars before.
Oh, really?
But it's before he owned it.
Oh,
Because he
okay.
bought no GEDs.
Oh yeah,
F8, so I shot that.
Okay, that's sick.
Yeah, and then he
'cause
burned it into the ground.
cinematic, like a cinematic commercial type style to him destroying like a Ferrari would be super dope.
Well, he said when he hits 10 mil subs, he's going to buy Bugatti and do a durability test on it.
That would be.
And he's at like
cool.
9.5 right now, so he's almost there. So maybe we can.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that would be crazy doing something.
Yeah.
Doing something for that.
So I know guys that have bought cars from him that know him.
Oh,
So I
okay.
could probably.
Dude, that'd be sick.
could probably
Yeah, I think like
figure out something.
Supercar Ron's done stuff with him too.
Yeah,
and like
my-
Heavy D Sparks and all that stuff and all
My
that.
friend Garrett bought a truck from him that he's rebuilding
Oh, okay.
from Whistler Diesel.
Dude, that's sick.
So
That'd be cool.
try to make that happen. That'd be cool.
And then there was it's kind of weird. There's another person that commented on that video. It was have you ever seen the Adam Project or anything like that? It has Ryan Reynolds in it. Or
Oh,
some.
yeah.
Yeah. So the kid from that movie commented on it too. So like a lot of people saw
That's
it.
cool.
And then I filmed the Lamborghini. Sorry, I'll get into this. I'm not trying to like do it for clout or anything.
No.
But then I was filming a Lamborghini launch event for the new Urus, and then one of the guy that brought the prototype car, he said that he saw it too. Like I was talking to Logan about the video, and he's like, "Oh, dude, one of my clients showed me this, and it was just a guy on top of a car." And it's funny because if you can make the video right and then you're consistent with it, like the amount of exposure that gets is crazy.
Yeah.
Because there will be people I talk to and they're like, "Oh, I saw this video," and they'll show me my own video. I'm like, "Oh, I did that." Instant icebreaker, and then they'll start like getting into stuff. So anyway, I think it's interesting.
Well, it's crazy the reach that, I don't know, just social media has just in general and the stuff you see. Like, I even, I mentioned this in another podcast, but it's always funny, like that RWB photo I took, like under the windmills, like that one, like popped off a lot. And it was just funny whenever I've like commented on other people's stuff or like told them, like, this is a really cool photo and stuff. They say, like, oh, that means a lot coming from the guy that shot that RWB photo. And like, it's referred to like that one. And I'm like, oh, that's cool that it's like, at least in that subculture niche, it's like that one photo that has like
100%.
that, and I feel like that video is too because everybody talked about the Dune video when it dropped.
Yeah, that one was wild. I was not expecting it to blow up that much, but I was like, yeah, let's like me and Cam were just like, let's go do something fun. Yeah, but I think that's like probably the top one at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is interesting and like really cool when people just come up to you and they're like, oh, you made this? And like, yeah, and it's like. And it's funny because I try to be transparent with everything, and I'm like, I'm just a normal person. Like, I'm just doing my own thing, and like you are too. It's like just keep doing it. That's it. You know.
Well, it's so funny because when we were in Boston and I posted that like I was there with you, like the amount of messages that I got from people being like, "Oh, you're working with Hunter Clarke," and then I would show him the videos, and he's just like, "What?" or like the messages, and he's like, "I'm just a dude."
Yeah,
I don't get it.
I think that's weird. I'm so disassociated with that. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
like I just make videos, and then the amount of people that follow me, they like the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, and yeah, I think it's funny. What did you say? He was like the ultimate dad lore. Or
Yeah.
something like
Ultimate
that.
dad lore of like me hanging out with you and stuff. But it's getting, you just don't understand like the reach and like, I would say even the inspiration that even just you just doing what you like to do does to other people. Like us doing what we enjoy to do inspires other people to do what they do. And then like it or not, like you get admiration for doing that and like creating things that other people enjoy. That whatever comes with it, like we don't do it for that because we do it because we like to do it.
100%.
But that just comes with it. So it's cool to just do what you like to do, but knowing that it's inspiring
Like,
other people.
yeah,
Because
inspiring, yeah.
I'm not sure, you probably get these messages too, but I bet your message requests are insane that you probably
That's right.
don't even look at them. But like I get messages from people sometimes like this is inspiring me for me to going out. Even the first podcast of this, I got a message from someone be like, I watched the first podcast and like I just picked up my camera for the first time in a while. Like I'm like, yeah. Like that's
Heck
cool.
yeah,
That's
dude.
why like it's one of the best like side effects of doing.
Yeah, it's
doing
like
it, you know?
it's an actual impact that you're having, and that's
Yeah.
something that's really cool. Yeah, and that's kind of like why I wanted to get into it a little bit too. Is yeah, it's just showing people that you can do. You literally can do anything.
Yeah.
As
Put
long
your
as
brain to it.
as long as you put your mind to it.
Yeah.
And
Stay
that kind
consistent.
of yeah, 100%. And I've talked to a couple people, but honestly, the equation for that success is just time plus consistency, and that equals success.
Right.
And you can actually just take that and apply it to whatever, either if it's relationships, career, whatever you want. It's like as long as you keep at it, it will happen. As long as you are being honest with yourself and putting in that work.
Yeah, and keeping integrity yourself, like I said, be honest with yourself. But also, I feel like a lot of people they'll see like the success of the Dune video and all these things in your follower count, but I feel like they won't look back at the probably hundreds of videos that have 1,000
Yeah.
views on
Yeah,
them or 300 views on them.
Yeah, I have a lot of crappy videos, and it's
Yeah.
like
But you have to have those.
yeah, and it's funny is like as well as like I've seen a lot of people have a lot of pride in what they do, and then their stuff isn't that great. And I'm not trying to be like a jerk about it, but the only way you can actually see growth and exponential growth is if you're actually honest with yourself and you have that integrity to be like, I can't charge someone for this because it's not that great.
Yeah.
Disconnected from I made that video like a week ago and I hate it. Like you have to disconnect from that and be real with yourself, or else you never grow. But also that's something you can apply to anything. If you want to be a bodybuilder, if you want to do creative stuff, if you want to own your own business, like if you're making a product that nobody wants but you think it's great, is it
great?
really?
You could have it, but no
it's
one else.
like, no, it's like, but also maybe it's in the wrong.
Yeah. We also don't
the wrong
deserve
market.
success just because you think it's great.
Yeah,
Like,
no, it's like you have to think outside yourself, and it's like with social media, it's like I make stuff that I like. That's what the whole grid thing is about, like the 3 photos. I make that for me, but all the other videos that I do to grow my social media or do other stuff, I make stuff for myself, I make stuff for what the app wants from me, and I make the stuff that people want to see.
Yeah.
And those 3 together will create that consistently. You can see growth like really easily.
Which also, like, it's perfectly that usually what you want to make and you have the skill set to make is also what people like to see.
Oh, right.
And it's really like helped out too. And I'm the same way with like the photos but I also think what's really important, especially what made like the Dune video stand out, was doing something that people haven't seen, which is really hard to do on social media now. But I feel like the reason why that popped off is because that's literally not anything anybody's ever thought to make or made.
Right. Yeah. So you have what do people want to see, or what the app wants you to see? You have Dune. Like that was like Dune Part 2 was super viral, so that helped.
Yeah.
But then you also have the shock factor, and it's like, what do people want to see? People want to see like a Serato off road. Yeah. But then what do I want to do, or what do me and Cam want to do? We want to have someone ride a freaking Serato. Yeah. And it's like all 3 of those together created something like that. But it's like even then, it's like it's not always gonna hit. But as long as you keep doing that, like I feel like those are the fundamental things to do for just any video.
Yeah, like you said, the consistency thing, because you never know what's going to stick. But if you didn't consistently put out something, then you're not going to make that one thing that does eventually. Yeah, and that's one thing. Like I was talking a lot to, not sure if you know Taden Wheeler.
Yeah,
and stuff. We were he was talking because I was talking about this podcast and having him on, but he was just like, yeah, it's just literally that one video that you need. So because I feel like the comment I get from a lot of people, and even though it's like, I'll agree with them. Like, I'll toot my own horn, but they're like, you don't have as much followers as like you feel like you should, and like you just need to. And because I haven't been very consistent, especially with the video work, and they're like, yeah, just have that one that will just work just one time. And so I just need to be consistent with the.
What's
posting
funny? What's funny is it's like I feel like it's a bunch of one videos.
Yeah.
Like I mean, maybe there is some people there is that one where it's like say like somehow Lamborghini is like, hey, we want to work with you, all that stuff. That's like the dream thing. But it's Tom Nosk is a really good person when it comes to personal branding, and he actually has like this photo of a bunch of like black boxes or white boxes in this huge grid, and then every 10, 15, or 100 boxes there's just this red box, and that's every viral video out of 100 videos.
Yeah.
And there's a cool analogy where it's like I do think there's like one video that can help get the ball rolling, but there is an analogy. It's from someone else, but I heard it from Alex Ramosi. He talks about these people, they got a group of people to make a pot, and one of them, or like just like a pottery, like a bowl, and they're like, hey, we want you guys to make the perfect pot, like in 100 days, perfect pot. That's it. Only make one.
Just make one.
Yeah, and then they talk to the other guys. They're like, hey, make a pot every single day, and then for 100 days. And then at the end of the day, the people that made the 100 pot or one pot a day for 100 days were significantly better than the person that just made that one pot.
Right.
Because like you learn little things here or there, and it's like again, if you're honest with yourself and you're like, I could do better, then you find those little things you need to fix, and then there's exponential growth right there. So.
Yeah. Which is like, constantly making stuff. But also one thing I've found super valuable with my photography is going back to the old photos and remaking them. Like, because I think it's important, just one, for yourself to see how you've improved as just an artist, but also just now you might view it a different way. Now you might do it. And I did a lot of my like biggest photos I posted recently have been old photo shoots that I've taken years ago, but I reimagined them with just a better editing style. And a lot of the stuff that I learned, that when I look back at that photo that I posted years ago, and I'm like, oh, why did anybody like that photo? But again, you don't need to tear yourself down, but you need to be real about where where you suck at.
Yeah,
and
100%.
things. And but also I feel like you need to surround yourself with people that tell you where you're
Yeah.
bad at.
Yeah.
Also in like a respectful way. Like you need to have friends that be like, hey, that didn't look good.
Yeah, no,
That
it's
didn't
like
work.
it's like you actually, if you don't tell your friend that, say if they're doing something they're not supposed to be doing, or if it's growing like that, if you have a friend that won't tell you that, it's like, not that they're a bad person, but it's, do you really not care enough for your friend to break them down a little bit to build them up even further,
Yeah.
that they can go, like to
Yeah.
make them even better. Like, I think that's very important. But
No, and I feel like I've heard that just from a lot of successful people. Like you need to surround yourself with people that will tell you that your stuff sucks.
oh yeah,
Because or like you're not doing good here, you're not doing that because they're the people that are going to see you in those places and care enough to be like, hey, I don't want you there. I want you to do better. I know you can do better.
exactly.
Like, so do better.
And what I think is cool about social media too is like you have like a nice buffer between when you post and like the actual performance of the video. There you go. So it's like you can actually see if the video does good or not. And sometimes it takes like maybe like a week for it to gain traction, but that's really what it is. It's like you have like this thing where you post and you're like, okay, it didn't perform well. Why didn't it perform well? How do I hook people in more? And you just take that, and then again, you just apply that through 100 days or infinite amount of time, and then it's like, anyway.
Yeah, and again, that's like what Mr. Beast says on his stuff. He's like, I'd rather you make 500 crappy videos and learn and get like 1% better every single time than trying to craft a perfect photo or video and seeing just what works. Because
Yeah, exactly. It's like if you pull up Premiere Pro to make the perfect video, first off, you're not going to have the people to see it because you're going to start out from ground zero, but you're not going to know how the app works or what even the film to start out with to even know what to do for the video. But if you do it 100 times, every single time, like I do a video, I'm like, oh, how do I do this? And I go and I research how to do it, and then I go and do it. And then that's how I figure out bit by bit. So now, like I can go make a 30-second video in just like an hour and then have it get 2 million views or something like that.
Which
like,
I think also I've noticed it a bit from people that have messaged me recently is a lot of people ask like, how much should I be charging for this? Like, how much should I do? And then I go to their page and they have like 5 photos on there. And I'm like, well, you haven't even put in the work to show that you know what you're doing yet. And no one's going to reach out to you and be like, I want his style because it's like, I don't know what your style is. You have like 5 photos on here. So that's what the first thing I was like, for the next couple months, just shoot for free, take a ton of photos, ask people to do it and just like fill that portfolio up.
Exactly. And that's how I got to meet a lot of people in Utah Valley with that was like, I'm like, my stuff isn't that great, but I want to get better. So I'm going to go do a free shoot with people and then just build what I need to build. And I actually built my social media while doing that. So now I have kind of the proof. If someone wants to do something with me, I can be like, yeah, I charge this much. And it's justified because I'm like, I have all this proof right here that I've actually done what I've done.
Right.
And a lot of people, they want the reward without that work. And I'm not saying they're lazy or anything like that, but that's kind of where the mind goes to. Because I like me starting out, I'm like, oh, I want to get paid for this because I want to go do this thing.
Yeah.
But it's like you have to build up to a certain point and then be honest with yourself if you can actually charge with this.
Right.
And then just go from there. But yeah, it's a very pricing is.
It's
a very
hard balancing because it's like, what's my time worth versus what can you deliver and stuff. And that's where you have to be honest with yourself. It's like, yes, your time has worth, but if you're not delivering a product that people want to pay for, do it for free because I even do like I still do a lot of free shoots. I'm not sure like
that Dune video was free.
Yeah,
like it was just for fun. Yeah,
popped off like crazy. But even like I was going out to California and I was messaged this guy and I wanted to shoot with his Porsche 17 Spider RS, whatever, like a special edition Boxster. And he asked like, well, how much is it going to cost? And I was like, it's your time. Like I just want to network with you. I'm the one asking you to give me content. Like you're actually providing me value, and then like I'm the one taking photos. Like you're giving me content for my page, and you taking time out of your day for some stranger flying from Idaho to come see you is payment.
And what's cool is like that also gives you leverage to form a relationship where they'll pay you for stuff.
Yeah,
like,
no, it always translates to more business. And but also I feel like it's important because it changes the initial interaction from transactional to relationship building instead, because now it's not an exchange of funds and money. Like you're actually building a friendship that then would translate to them wanting to work with you.
Did 100%. Yeah, like I've done it like with Cam. I think it was something like that where we did something for free, or he wanted to do something, and then we did some stuff, and then he wanted to do work with me, and then we did some like social media stuff for him. And yeah, no, that's really where it goes. And it's like, and that just goes back to the relationships. It's very important to have relationships, and then just act like they're people because there are people. Yeah. And then also when it comes to pricing, I think it's interesting. I don't base stuff hourly. I base stuff on like what product am I delivering, and it's also very hard to gauge that. But I feel like you also have to like shoot your shot to like a handful of people to really gauge what the market wants. But Yeah, that's like that was my least favorite thing is like doing that. And even now I'm like, oh, like I don't want to price this out because then someone's like, oh, I'm just gonna dip and go do somewhere else or something.
Sure.
But yeah,
There's
but
always
it's always
going to be someone
yeah,
cheaper, but
yeah. But it's like if someone's cheaper, it's like, but is it like my whole
good of a
social media is like
product.
is it a good product if it's cheaper? But
yeah, which when I started, the way I gauged that was for like the first little bit when I decided I could finally start charging was I would ask someone to pay me what they thought it was worth. Because then I could gauge all around just to see what people would value it. And obviously you'd get like a huge flux and then kind of find a middle ground because like I would have one client pay $300 for a shoot and I would have one client pay $20.
Oh,
and
yeah, I remember you telling me about
then,
that.
yeah, and everything in between, And so it's like I would ask that question and see what it is. And then I didn't start charging a lot higher of a rate until someone like actually a really successful person that I would shoot with would be like, hey, like you need to be charging more. Like your time's worth more. And then I gave him a price, and then he like tipped me an extra $100 on top of that. He's like, "That's what you should be charging." I'm like, okay,
Nice.
that's what I'll do. But it's really hard where I'm at too, because in Idaho, the next like cheapest photography, like the step below me, because my base is like 250 minimum for a shoot now, but the next one is like $80. So it's a huge delta in between. But it's like I know what I'm worth, and if people want to work with me, they'll pay it.
Right.
But
and
most people can just go to the $80 guy.
Right,
but I know the product I'm giving.
100%, and that's why social media is important because you should like it shows a lot of people what you do, but they want to do work with you because of your personality and all that stuff. So that's also why I think a personal brand is very important. Is so it's like you can not screw people over, but you can justify that price. Where you're like, hey, my price is this much, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, you're selling you.
Yeah, like what was it? I feel like social media has gone to a point where it's like I have there's it shows the performance of the stuff where it's like a 30-second video is $1,500. So I can be like, I'm going to go do this. And then I take like an hour or two to film and then an hour to edit. And then here's that product. Yeah. But it's not like I'm rushing it and I want to get it out. It's like, if I can get a product done at that time and you like it, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And it's not the time that you put into it. It's the expertise and the skills and the years of doing that skill that then you put into there because I don't know, like the less time it is, obviously, the more money you're making because like when you're in this creative space, your time is your expense that you're using because it's not like costing us much money to make these things. It's like we already spent the money on the camera gear. We're not burning stuff unless we're shooting like film or something. And so it's all how much money you make is based on how much time you put into the thing. So if you can get it to where it's like it's streamlined, but then you're still putting out a good product that you can charge that much for. Even though you're only working for 2 hours, quote unquote, and maybe 2 hours of filming, so 4 hours for $1,500, and people are like, "What? Why am I paying that?" You're like, "But it's all the years before that I put in to get to this point to be able to do that."
100%. And what's also really cool is Ormozy talks about this is like I try it since I like filming the high end cars and I like that lifestyle. It's like I'm selling a product to the top 1%, and I find and you'll find I'm sure you've done you work with more wealthy people, they're less emotionally invested in the money. So they're more willing to just be like, okay, here you go.
Try it out.
So it's like, okay, cool. But if you're going and filming a guy with a WRX, $50 is a tank of his gas.
Yeah. No,
you know what I mean? So it's very hard to get money out of, people, like not saying that they're cheap or anything like that, but it's a reality. People that's a thing. So if you're delivering products to the top 1%, then it's more easy to get their to sell stuff to them because of that.
Yeah.
I
also find the WRX clients are way more scared to let you drive their car. Because it's different. Again, it's just being like, just what hit can they take? Because that might be their only car, and if anything happens to it, then like people like this, they'll just give you their car for the day and just be like, bring it back.
Dude, I don't know how people are handing you their cars, bro. I've never had someone like, here, take the keys and go drive.
Do you know this is gonna sound like the most dumb thing ever? Just ask. I have asked so many people to be like, can I just film this? Can I take it for the day? And they're like, yeah.
Dang, dude, I need to start doing that.
Most things that I've gotten in my life so far is just because I've just asked for it, which is fun too.
What's your favorite car that you've driven on a photo shoot?
Ooh, I'll say driven period was an SVJ Roadster, or SVJ Roadster. On a photo shoot though, it's a hard one. It's actually probably Cam's McLaren 765 LT Spider.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
He let me take that and his supercharged Huracan out.
Oh, nice.
And did kind of thing, which is actually one of the photos I'm going to show off later and talk about that. But yeah, it's probably that because he let me have both.
Oh, okay.
And just like try both of them out, let me take them. And I'm trying to think. I'll say no GED. Damon gave me his Aventador SV that I got to drive with him and his McLaren Senna.
That's
so
yeah. That was a photo you took as well, right?
Yeah.
I've seen that. I think I've seen that.
Yeah,
one.
that was one of the reels I posted from the podcast.
Heck yeah, I saw that one. I was those are crazy. It's wild.
Yeah. So that was probably because that's like my pinnacle dream car is the SV Roadster.
Oh, okay.
And so that was probably my favorite for sure. That he was just like, here's the key, take it, I'll drive this.
Okay,
yeah. But a lot of people even I really wanted to shoot one of my friends he had a Corvette Z06, like a brand new one, and which we have one in the corner over there. But I asked him, I was like, I know you're busy. Like, can I just take the car for a couple hours to take photos of it? And he's like, just take it for the weekend. He's like, do you have a house to park it at? I'm like, yeah. He's like, all right. And he gave it to me for 3 days. He was like, yeah, that's
wild.
Take it. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll do that. And again, it's like if you just ask a lot of times, you'd be amazed at how many people just say yes when you just ask them if you can do something. Even just like, can I do this? He's like, yeah. All right.
That's wild. That's crazy.
So, yeah, just get up, ask for what you want. A lot of times you'll be told yes, surprisingly, for almost anything, for much opportunities too. Like a lot of the stuff, the shoots that I do are because I asked to do it.
Dang, that's cool.
And you'll never know because it's no every time if you don't.
Right. Yeah. It's like worst they can say is no.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're asking like you're entitled to it. You're just like, hey, like, could I? And then, yeah, there you go.
No, if there's someone you want to work with, shoot him a message. Ask him. He might surprise you.
Yeah.
Actually, in my last podcast, I talked about how like one of my dream YouTubers, we somehow became friends on Facebook somewhere down the line, and I was going to where he was at, and I was like, just message him. I was like, can I shoot your car? He's like, yeah.
Was that North Borders?
No, his name's Eddie Zhu.
Oh, okay.
He started. Do you know Vehicle Virgins? You ever heard that one? It was one of the biggest like car channels, but he started that with like the guy that runs it now.
Okay.
And I was watching him since like middle school.
Dang.
And then I don't know how, I feel like I probably saw him on Facebook and I was like, add, and then he somehow accepted it. But then I was going to Scottsdale and I was just like, he keeps his car in Scottsdale. I was like, hey, can I shoot it? And then he was like, yeah, I'll be there. Like, let's do it.
Dang.
All right, cool. But all right, let's move on to the next photo. That's one that you're going to be recognize. It is this one right here that you helped me shoot.
Heck yeah. Is that the shot from what's the Instagram handle? The guy. It's Life Through Optics or something like that.
Does he do the
he has this whole thing where he does that, and then all of his followers tag him in that. So anyway,
cool.
Sorry.
Okay,
but no, that's cool.
Well, I've seen a lot of shoots like photos like so. I think he actually follows me on Instagram. Like we follow each other back. So I'll shout him out if that is who inspired it. But yeah, so this one I would say you and I went and shot with this guy, Braden Weeks. Out and we went with not Cam. Somebody C name with the car owner.
And a lot of stuff
Chandler.
I filmed all these cars. So yeah, my mind just keeps going to Cam.
With Chandler, which I've shared a lot of his cars on this podcast already, but took this car out and we really want to just get snow photos of a GT3 RS because nobody
the ultimate track car per se in a freaking snowy environment. Like,
which let me tell you, we tried to get this car to drift, especially on like the roads coming up. It sticks.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Even with the cold weather with like summer tires, it was hard to break loose.
Yeah.
But then when it had no traction, it had no traction.
Yeah, it just spun around.
Yeah. Which is literally like, which is again a funny reel that you need to go see on his page you'll see me just staring at the camera all dumbfounded while he just
it was me just talking camera specs on the glasses I was using. So
yeah. And then him just spinning in the background. But no, this was I would say one of the coldest shoots too. Like our hands were wrecked at that. But I feel like this is the only time where I almost like couldn't move my hands after just doing the rolls because it was like 10, 15 degrees outside, hanging out the back of my car.
And then it's even colder because all the wind. So it's like
even
it was
worse. Windy. We were up near Sundance in the mountains, but these are just like one thing I wish I would have done differently on these is not shot it with a Pro Mist filter because like the headlights look super bloomed, but I had to do a lot of post processing to bring the headlights back because they were like way overblown. So I really wish I wasn't running a Pro Mist that day.
What is it? Was it a quarter or an eighth?
I think it was a quarter, but it has a CPL that like makes it an eighth. Like it's the short stash every day.
Okay, cool.
Filter. But yeah, it was just too much bloom on it, and
I think it looks good though. Like you really like. I like the amount of bloom and stuff.
I was happy where I got it. But yeah, like if you saw the raw, it was just. And I'm glad like the sensors on the camera are good enough to retain the information underneath it. But no, I thought this was just such a really fun like photo that again like you want to take photos that stand out. And even when I post these on Reddit, they're like, who took their 3RS up like in the snowy mountains and all this stuff? Like what gets traction is doing something that people don't expect to do.
Yeah, it's the wow factor on it.
Yeah, all my biggest photos are cars doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. And
Dude.
like my biggest one is the RWB off-roading. That's my biggest photo. Like
Oh,
who
yeah,
takes
yeah,
an RWB off-roading? Like, well, I did.
Yeah, like,
And, well, it's like the owner did.
mm,
I didn't even ask him to. He just started doing it, and I just took photos of it.
mm,
But that's just something that you just don't see, and that's what makes like a cool photo. And that's what I've been trying to do, just creatively, is think of how can I do a photo shoot of something that like you wouldn't really piece together. That some people might think is a dumb concept, but I think
right.
it looks cool.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. And plus with the green with the snow too, it really makes it pop out even more. Like,
Was it a pain to color grade for you though? Because mine was kind of a pain to keep it looking still green because it has a lot of like the aqua color in there. Then trying to get the blues really blue because this was actually a very like white scape. Like
right.
because I tried to make it really cold, but I kept like taking the green color away because it was making it too aqua. So it was
right.
really kind of fighting the color balance on this one.
With mine, I don't think I really had an issue with the green because it stood out so much. I just took the blue, like kind of just desaturated the blues and stuff like that and have a more like of a neutral feel.
Yeah, mine was hard because I brought all the blues in. Because like I said, this one raw was like white. It didn't have the blues. So like I added in there, and so like trying to get the greens to work and all the color science just to work together was kind of a pain in the butt. But no, I just thought this one was fun because like we took this one together. But yeah, it was so freaking cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I got
So
like
cool.
hand warmers after that one. I was like, I need to get some hand warmers.
Yeah, or they make like powered gloves or something like
that's
like
even
electric
better.
gloves that you can like run a wire into like your jacket or something.
Yeah.
Those would be like
It's
motorcycle
funny.
gloves. Would be cool.
Okay. It's funny. All that stuff, it's like I don't realize the stuff that I need like that until I'm in the moment. And then I haven't even thought about it until you just said something
We
about
only need it for 2 months
right.
of
Yeah.
the year, and then you never need it again.
Right.
But
Yeah.
so those 2 months, like it'd be nice to have.
Yeah.
But yeah, but this was a really fun time with Chandler, and again, he's also an owner that just beats the crap out of his cars. Currently, like 4 of his supercars, out of the 4, he broke the front splitters on 2 of them the last week.
That's
Just
crazy.
ripping them and having fun, and he was off on a ice lake with his Turbo S, doing donuts with a F40 LM.
Oh, was that
on an
supercar
ice
runs?
lake, yeah.
I
with
saw
supercar
those
runs.
and I was like,
he was
dang,
out there
that's-
with his Turbo
yeah,
S.
That's crazy.
Just all studded snow tires, just doing donuts on a lake.
That's cool.
So it's just fun beating up. We like, I think we both agree, we like people that just have
Yeah,
fun with
they
their
like
cars.
take it and send it, and that's what makes it unique. Because if someone just goes and drives a car on the road, there's only so much you can do, especially from like a video's perspective, because you need a lot of separated shots. So it's like you have this shot of the car driving. I don't want to put another car,
Maybe you'll
or
put
like
a
a shot of it
shift
drive.
cut
Yeah,
in
like
there.
split between that, show the back a little bit.
Yeah.
But like if they're only driving and they're not drifting and anything else, it's like I don't really know what else to add here. You
Right.
know, like
Yeah.
So
And that's when you have to get real creative with sound design and cutting and stuff
Yeah.
to make it seem interesting, especially a lot of times where the shots were going like 20 miles an hour.
right, yeah, 100%.
Speeding up in post. But yeah, no, I love owners that rip their cars, have fun, and this was just a really fun photo that we did together.
Yeah, it's sick.
But
yeah.
If we go into your second one,
Yeah, I think it might be
let's see what it
that
is.
one. I picked a photo and a video, but the story's kind of the same, but it's actually this one of the 3RS.
Okay.
That one, the photo itself is, I don't know, something about it. I just take photos and then I don't realize what really I do until after or anything, but I just like the composition. Like the car just looks like it should be on a Porsche poster.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And then you have, again, it's like the ultimate track car on ice.
Yeah.
And then that's basically it. But then I'll show you the video I made as well. But that's just like, I'll plug in a photo. Yeah, and then this is the video from that
let's
shoot.
see here. All these poor people that were hiking around us and taking family photos. We were just
Yeah.
doing donuts in the parking lot.
Right.
Yeah, getting those shots with the tail kicking out was a lot of work.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. It was pretty wide too, so I'd like zoom in and all that stuff. But yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's
that
so
that
fun.
was
I
it.
just love how he just mobs it.
Right.
Have so much fun. Because yeah, that day we were actually trying to shoot the 3RS and a McLaren 720, and it just the lighting wasn't good. All the parking lots were full. Like almost every single thing that went wrong, we were just trying to shift and adapt.
Didn't help. It was like the day after Thanksgiving, so everybody's like, "All right, family, let's go up the canyon." I don't like that about
come on.
Utah. That like you go up like AF Canyon's not the place to go to film, but like canyons or like the Alpine Loop, all that stuff.
All these outdoorsy people.
Yeah, and it's like outdoorsy to go just drive around in a circle. But I do that all the time, so I can't blame them. But you know, it's kind of the same as yours. Like, I saw you post the salt flats stuff with it, and I was like, oh brother, like it's a 992 GT3 RS, and it's kind of like a cliche. Like everybody's dream car, but I filmed the GT3 and I've always wanted to film the 3RS. So I just messaged you and I was like, bro, dude, do you think he'd be down to go shoot it? And you're like, oh, heck yeah. And then,
he always is.
I just went up the canyon, froze to death, basically. He took it around or drifted around in some ice and stuff. But that one was really fun because that one's just like, I don't know. If I were to get any car, the 3RS would be cool, but I think the GT3 would be the ultimate.
A manual
GT3. I think that'd be pretty cool. In the one I filmed previously, the first like 992 was almost the same color as that, like in that green. I would get it in the green as well, which I
like
never thought I would
green
get
or
it. Something like that. Yeah. But no, that one was kind of like a simple, nice edit. And then I made some like other video, like that was something I wanted to make, and then I took the footage and repurposed it with like more trending stuff, and then those ones went more viral.
Right.
But like a 3RS can go pretty viral on Instagram. It's kind of crazy. Like I think like every video I posted with that is like at least 100, 200,000 views on Instagram, and I was like, okay.
The 3RS is kind of a content, like, or
but if you could,
like
a viral topic to post,
because almost all my big photos that I took are with that car.
But like,
and even Porsche USA used my photos,
right? And it's like, and if you can pair like the really good like skills you have with something viral, it's bound to go viral. And it's like, I'm not surprised that Porsche reached out, because I saw that photo. I'm like, swiping through, I'm like, gosh dang. And I saw it posted it. I'm like, what the frick? I'm like, this is sick. So it's like, it's just really cool. So
yeah, that was cool. But then that's when my classic story that I talked on episode 2 that I had to turn down Porsche because they wanted to use those photos, but like forever with no money, like for usage rights for life, no compensation. I was like, no, I turned them down.
I think that's interesting because I saw that before I came here. I was like looking through the stuff, like your videos and stuff, and I feel like videographers get kind of like the back end of stuff to certain points where it's like, yeah, it's cool to be on Porsche, but the fact that you're gonna use the rights and do all that, it's kind of interesting. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, kind of. That's all I have to say. I
was like, yeah, you guys can license it, and then they just
then they
ghosted me.
Then they don't respond. And you're like,
huh, okay. Right. I'm like, I just want to be paid what I'm worth.
Yeah,
that's fine. It's cool, as we all should. But no, that's such a fun day. I loved it.
Oh yeah.
But let's get to this next photo, which is of Cam's Huracan.
Oh, nice.
It was a VF Engineering Supercharged Huracan, which is in the back there right now. And surprisingly, that is the first and only Huracan I've ever driven.
Oh, really?
Ever was a VF Supercharged Evo so pretty much the best one that you can get, plus like 800 horsepower. Damn. And like Cam and I took the 765 out and I had that, and we were like racing each other in the thing, and then we swapped the cars and took them out. So that was just like one of the funnest days shooting. But after I drove the Huracan, I was like, it was a 765 because it's like price, it's compared to an Aventador. Does it drive it all the same? And Cam, I feel like almost took it, was like, no, because Cam really didn't like his SVJ. He drove it, bought it, had it for like a couple months, went and took it like 205 miles an hour at an event, and then just sold it because he's like, this car sucks. Which, like, Aventadors are rough. I feel like everybody that's owned one has sold it and says it's an awful car, even though it's still my dream. I still want it. But we took him out, and I was like, is that like an Aventador? Because I've driven Aventadors before then. And he was just like, no, he's like, hop in here, take it out, let's go. And went and drove it. And this was around like nighttime. It was like nighttime in the summer. So I was just enjoying it, cruising along. And then I just happened to be in like some lady's like blind spot in the 765 LT. And then she really needed to get over. And she like flicked on her blinker, started coming to my lane. And I was like, she was about to like hit me in it. And I was just like, oh shit. And so I just like, luckily it's a fast car. I just punched it and just barely missed this lady, like almost sideswiping me off the road. This car. And like, again, before then I didn't have business insurance. So please get that. And then I brought it back, and Cam likes to, I'm not sure if you guys can see on this wall, but there's a lot of Legos. And when you come visit him, he likes to give you a Lego set to take home and build and come bring back. And so he gave me a Lego set after shooting them. And I brought it back, and he showed me that I got a really big nail in one of the tires when I drove it.
You're like, what?
Too.
What?
And it was like a $2,000 tire. When I had it, I got a nail in the tire too. So some lady almost hit me in it, and I put a nail in the tire.
I prefer the nail any day.
You want me to pay more? He's like, nah. He's like, you're fine. But again, it's like, protect yourself with those, and stuff happens. So kind of like my first photo and this one, like, you can go have fun, but like stuff will happen. Eventually, just make sure you're prepped for it.
I'll have to go into leeway after I show the next thing. Yeah. But I almost lost $15,000 worth of equipment in the ocean one time.
Oh man,
I'll have to tell you about that.
Oof. I need to check to make sure my gear's insured too.
None of mine's insured, and I need to do that.
Bro, we do way too much dangerous stuff to not have it.
Yeah, I know.
insured.
Being out the back of a car and all that stuff could drop it. I was filming a retro build with a Jeep, and it was like $125,000 like Jeep or whatever. And I was on ice, and I actually slipped, and I smashed my lens into the ground. It didn't break though, luckily. Yeah, I was like, "Oh, that's fun." I just laughed.
Sick,
I'm like,
okay.
that's all I can do is laugh.
I bet you panicked for
I was like,
car
"Oh,
just
all right, yeah, we're
stopped.
good." I can laugh now that nothing went wrong.
Oh man, I love it.
But no, I like that one. Yeah, it's a cool story. I think it's sick.
Yeah, and it's cool. And this location's kind of cool. I've never seen anybody else shoot at it, and it's literally right by.
Is it across the street from a McDonald's?
No, it's back in an industrial park that I've never found. I found when I was just driving around. It's right next to Utah Lake, actually, but more on the, not like the what's. I'm not sure what the side is. Like the more northern west side of it. Like the roads are the worst roads I've ever driven on ever. But like there's Utah Lake and like Vineyard where we shoot on like the marina, and then there's like the northern end of it, and there's like some industrial park there. And I found this spot, and I was just like, pull up, we're gonna go take these here.
That's
and,
cool.
And it kind of worked out good.
Yeah, I like it. I like the colors and the composition. I always love a 45-degree shot like that. The wheel turned.
And this photo too, like it's always funny when you see like photos that you take where they just end up sometimes without you knowing where they end up. Because like I would see this set pop up like all over like Huracan Facebook pages. That like Facebook would just like suggest to me, being like, we think you might like this page, and it would be like someone posting my photo, and I'm like,
Dude, I do think it's funny with videos. Like, I'll get like tons of people just like when it goes like at least 100 mil or like a couple 100,000, I just start seeing reposts of stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's when you know it's a good one because you're like, oh okay, yeah, people are reposting it,
right?
And then someone's bound to know.
Well, Instagram now tells people who the original creator is, which is cool.
Oh really?
Like they have an AI thing that they can see who the original creator was, and it puts a little tag saying like this was originally made by Hunter Clarke.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
So that's a new update that they just made.
Oh heck yeah,
which is
that's
great.
Super sick.
I love that. But yeah, it's funny. Yeah, for some reason this set just got spread out like throughout like the Huracan forums a ton.
You're scrolling through and you're like, that's my photo.
No,
okay,
for real.
cool. Yeah.
And it's weird when you shoot like commercial stuff like for ads. Like I'll just be scrolling through Facebook and like I shoot for a company, Lumar, like for their PPF, and I'll just get like Lumar ads, and I'm like, oh, like this is just a photo I took, and just like scrolling through Facebook. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I also think it's funny seeing a video of someone else. Like I was on YouTube Shorts and I saw a video of Jeeves with his Porsche. I'm like, Jeeves. I'm like, what are you doing on my feed? Like that's so cool. And that one's a bit more like you have to really get out there on YouTube Shorts to see people you know. And I'm like, oh, that's freaking sick.
Yeah. Jeeves is also someone I want to come on here. I bet he has some fun stories.
Dude, I'm sure he does. He's a really cool dude. I love him. What was it? Yeah, no, I was just speaking of that. Like Lamborghini on TikTok reposted one of my videos of Cam Serato. Yeah. And I was just scrolling through and I'm like, oh, what? Okay, that's cool. Like,
yeah.
It's always
sometimes
always
you
a
miss
fun
the
surprise.
tag notification and you just you're like, oh wait, what's up?
Yeah.
That's what like Mercedes-Benz been sharing a lot of like the photos I took of G-Wagons and stuff recently. And I'm like, oh, like, all right. And I'll just get like, but it's the most random like countries too. Like you'll get like Mercedes-Benz of Azerbaijan and whatever. And at least you're like, all right, they're sharing my stuff now. Cool.
Right.
That's fun. But yeah, no, it was just a really fun time, but also a time that I actually did hurt a car. It wasn't my fault, like much, but I guess technically I ran over the nail. And so broke a $2,000 tire and almost got hit by a lady while driving a $700,000 car. But yeah, so let's see what your last one was.
This is also with Cam. I have this one.
Oh, when it transforms. This was such a cool video.
Yeah, it goes into the Strato, and then
how long did that take you to keyframe out all of those parts and have them move and shift and then cut the frames?
Honestly, like 2 hours.
That's it.
1 hour. Yeah, okay. It wasn't that much because I just rotoscoped instead of like going and taking it in the Photoshop.
Okay.
But
did you just have the camera set up and just have them drive both cars into that same spot?
Yeah, I just had tripod set up, and then just put a rock somewhere on the road, had him drive to a certain point, and then if you actually look at it, the Serato is a little bit forward. That's why I like lifted it up out of the air, so when it slams down, you can't even tell.
Okay, yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, it didn't take too crazy long. I also just upgraded my MacBook, so it was like a breeze.
Right,
I was like,
you didn't have to render for very long.
Yeah, I'm like, if this was on my other computer, I would like my computer would just blow up at that point. So
I need to upgrade my graphics card. That's my limiting factor at the moment.
Dude, After Effects is so irritating when you don't have enough space because like I have like 100, I think it's like 150 gigabytes of just my normal storage saved for it because it saves every single frame after you adjust something.
Oh dang.
Yeah, so it's
Okay.
kind of gets irritating. So you have to keep like
And you need fast
refreshing it.
storage too. Like a lot of people think like even though you have a lot of storage, if it's not a fast memory
Then it's
card,
just useless. Where it's just like it just
then
doesn't
it
do
doesn't
anything.
matter. It doesn't matter. It's like all about the right speed. Oh, that's cool.
And then there's that one. So that one was pretty cool. Literally we were filming something. I don't know if he has a photo. Actually, it's one of those photos right there. He had. Where is it? There's a
photo of those cars
there should
all
be
around
a
the
Strato
warehouse.
one. Like if you see back there, there's some. There's one
He's
of the.
kind of rearranged in here, so I
there it
wonder.
is. So there's the
with
Strato
flag
one.
on
He
it.
was
Yeah.
like he wanted to film something with that, and we were
I'll
out.
take a
Yeah, so
video of it on
he
the
wanted to do
wall
a video with that, and I was like, Cam, what if we did like a video where we like transformed the Evo into the Strato and then have it go off road because the Evo can't go off road, even though we also took that one off road.
Of course.
And he was like, oh, dude, yeah. And then that's actually the first time I'd driven a Lamborghini. I drove the Strato, and that's supercharged 800 horsepower like the Evo. And I was like, this is crazy. And he's like, put it in sport mode, get at it. I'm like, no, I'm fine. I don't have
He
business
eggs you
insurance.
on when you're in his
Yeah,
cars,
it's
dude.
so funny.
It's fun.
But I was like, this is pretty cool. I would love, I would
He's the
love
one that
one of those.
initiated our drag race when I was in the Huracan, and he rolled up on the 765, and he was like, come on, let's go.
You're like, oh, I'm terrified.
And then
but
that
okay.
car got stomped by the 765. That car's so fast.
Oh, dang. And then this is the one that Lamborghini posted on the TikTok.
Okay, let's see.
And then that's just,
And that's that flag.
yeah.
Picture up there with that car.
Yeah. And he was just
Pirate
bombing
flag.
down. I was with Logan with that one, and it was sunset. We were driving back, and then Logan was like, dude, there's a trail right there. We should call Cam and have him. I think he was like, let's have him do that. And then literally Cam just went like right off road. And then I just got out the car and then started filming.
Yeah.
That's a photo equivalent of just like the perfect shot at the perfect time because you have the sunset, you have the
Sunset
Strato.
thing,
I think we're going like 35, 40 miles an
Strato
hour.
with a pirate flag on the top.
Dude, so
Around.
sick. I meant dude, that car is such a cool car.
It's probably one of the most capable, like, best cars
I'm surprised. Honestly, I think the Dakar might handle better. I don't know. I've never driven one, but
Nobody will off-road them.
right, no, exactly. But the Strato, I filmed stuff before all the Dune stuff. And what's funny is I sat in with him and he was just going at it. And then like you could kind of hear the bottom end scraping a little bit, but it was like the suspension was crazy smooth and it was more than capable.
Yeah.
Going in some like ruts and stuff, and I'm like, this is crazy. It's
I think the
freaking
limiting factor on
Lamborghini.
that's just the body panels.
Yeah,
Almost,
that-
and Cam has probably broken every single one on
Yeah,
the
no.
around it.
Speaking of which, like this last summer was a lot with that Strato. Like we went out with Supercar Ron and his guy Tace, and they did like a drag race between the two because that Supercar Ron's Strato is twin turboed, right? And then Cam's was just supercharged.
Yeah.
And we found this mountain where we actually later up filming the Dune video. They were like drifting around, all that stuff. Supercar Ron beached his on top of this mountain, and then Cam got his stuck, and I drove out his Raptor, and Cam's like, okay, like we have this like rug, we'll just put it on the back of the Strato, and then you just like push me out with the truck. I'm like, no, I'm fine, but I mean, I guess we'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
And like
He says it's okay.
yeah, we set it up, and then we went up with the bumper. And then the car, like as I went to hit the gas, the car backed up a little bit, and then it like gave it a little bit too much of a nudge, so like the panel bent in a bit, and I'm like, oh my gosh! But we got him out.
Yeah.
But I was like,
I just ended a hammer on.
yeah, I was like literally just smashed into the back of this Strato with a freaking Raptor, and I'm like, it's your fault. You asked me to do it. I haven't posted that yet, but
I'm pretty sure
hilarious.
it's on Supercar Ron's YouTube video.
Yeah,
I
it's
can
on
click
that.
From that, yeah.
Yeah, if you watch it, you'll find it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. Again, breaking his cars, but yeah, he's broken the bumper on that car so many.
dude, I have like I don't know if somewhere in my 200 gigabyte library or whatever. That back right bumper of the Strato is completely cracked and destroyed. Like it's super. He like used the heck out of that.
As
thing.
it should be.
Dude, and he even took it like we were in the dunes, and he took it up this crazy hill. I'll have to ask Logan to send me the video, but he like went up this crazy huge hill, and then it stopped at the top because the transmission was hot, and it was like, I don't want to move until I cool down, which is kind of a weird thing. Like it just, I mean, it makes sense so it doesn't destroy itself.
Sure.
But that whole time we were going out and doing stuff, I feel like the Lamborghini, like all of them are like very finicky on how they work. They're like, if it's too hot, anything, they just don't. They stop themselves
working.
preemptively just so they don't destroy themselves.
Yeah. So they
But
know
then-
the owners don't push them too far.
Yeah, but then you have Chandler that's like drifting his like Turbo S until like everything starts leaking out of
Yeah,
it.
Porsche,
Like,
Porsche
yeah.
doesn't care one bit.
Yeah,
And then
no.
the Porsche worked just fine the next day. But cool, dude. No, those are awesome videos. And obviously, again, Hope you guys really loved him and see more on his Instagram. And it's all linked down below, obviously, and my Instagram's there too if you want to see my photos. But Hunter, what would you say is one piece of wisdom advice, something you just leave for the audience here in the end?
I would say consistency is key. Again, I kind of said that a little bit before, but time plus consistency equal success. Keep doing it even though you're not seeing any results. And if you feel dumb doing it, you're doing it right, because you're gonna look dumb doing something before you actually are good at something.
Right.
Like, again, all
It's
my
dumb till it works.
Yeah, literally, basically. Because I did a lot of like dumb videos, all that stuff. And I'd say, what was it? I don't know. I guess I don't want to be cheesy, but believing in yourself is a very important key, because you are your own limiting factor. And if you don't believe you're gonna do something or you can do something, you're just not gonna do it.
You're not.
Like, if I don't believe that I can walk out that door right now in the middle of this podcast, I won't. You know what I mean? Like, it's just how it works. So you're going to be limiting yourself a lot more. And the sooner you can figure that out in yourself internally, you can. And you can control literally what you can control. So,
yeah. And like I said, if you don't ask, the answer is no every time.
That's a good one. I need to start doing that. That's like my biggest fault.
Literally the coolest thing, just been asking people, can I do it? They say yes.
Yeah, you're like, I went to Iceland to do this thing with this one company because I asked. And I'm like,
really?
Excuse me, what?
No, I was going to Iceland. I was like, hey, can you guys work with you guys and just pay for the trip? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm like, I need
sure.
I need to take that one out of your book. I need to
just ask, because again, the answer is always no. But
yeah,
dude, all right, man. Thank you so much for being here, sharing this, and also shout out to Cam for giving us the cool location and all the cars and stuff. Really appreciate it. And thank you guys for watching, sitting through these long conversations. Hopefully, you've been enjoying it. And also, if you have anybody that you would like to see on the show, let me know. Comment down below. And again, check out Hunter's stuff. It's amazing. Thank you so much for being here. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.